All right, we're looking at section D6, proofs involving parallel lines. All right, so this one they give us PRS and VUW are supplementary. Complete the proof that TV is parallel to QS. Okay, let me break these down. All right, so first one, they give us a statement, and then on the right, they're gonna give us a reason. Throughout this section, they'll give you less and less items that are filled in. So the reasons you'll have to figure out yourself. This one, they give us 5 of 6. You're just trying to solve the last one. So the first thing they tell us is PRS, this one right here. Oops, try that again. PRS and VUW. These two right here are going to be supplementary. Okay, at 180 degrees. Say PRS plus VUW, what we just said, those two measures, so the measure of PRS and the measure of VUW are going to be equal to 180 degrees. That's the definition of supplementary angles. Okay. PRS plus SUR, so it's going to be this one right there, are going to be equal to 180 degrees. This is angles forming a linear pair, sum to 180 degrees. Okay. So if you look at this, it's almost like if I'm making a circle, that's about half my circle. So if I finish that circle, for example, it would look like this. 1 second. So completing that circle right there, the yellow going all the way around. Okay, so that'd be 360 degrees, a full circle. This instant is going to be 180 degrees. So if that line splits those two angles together, if you add those two angles together, it'd be 180 degrees. All right, the next one, transitive property of equality. This is an important one as well. So we've been looking already at PRS plus VUW. Okay, that's what we saw right here in statement number 2. So that's equal to 180 degrees. And this one, PRS, same thing as over here, plus SRU, that's the transitive property of equality. So where's SRU? SRU, that one right there. They're going to be equal to each other. Okay, so these two right there, here, and there combined with PRS, so this outside, let me do a different color so you guys can see. All right, the two green ones, so here and there, are going to be equal. All right, then the next one is going to be VUW. So VUW, this one right there, and SRU, that side right there, are going to be equal because of algebra. And the last one is going to be, I click down here, I have my options right there. So it's not a vertical angle. A vertical angle, just to explain, is going to be two angles across from each other. Definition of supplementary angles, no, they're not going to, that's not what we're looking for. Not going to add up to 180 degrees. Corresponding angles postulate, close. This one is going to be the converse, so you go in the opposite direction there. Angles forming a linear pair, no, it's 180 degrees. That's not what we're looking for. We're just looking at two lines that are parallel. Okay, so this one's going to be converse of corresponding angles postulate. Okay. Okay, look at this next one. All right, this one they want you to complete the proof that RT is parallel to UW. So a lot of time, most of these are actually going to be the converse to corresponding angles postulate, but let's double check. Let's look through it. All right, so they give us a given. SVW is congruent to SV, which are the two right angles that they have right there, according to the vertical angles theorem. We have the second statement, so it's QST. So QST right there is going to be congruent to this one right there. So they're across from each other on the lines. They're going to be a vertical angle theorem. Okay. The transitive property of congruence, that is SVW, is going to be congruent to QST. SVW, that one, is going to be congruent to QST. Okay. So I like to think of it like I moved this line over to this line, and those two angles in the bottom here and here should match. So that's a transitive property of congruence. Okay. And last one, this is going to be converse of corresponding angles postulate. All right, this one they're starting from the parallel lines. So the statement is WY is parallel to TV. So you look at these two lines there and there. They're going to be parallel to each other. Okay. The next one we're looking for is the reason is unknown on this one. It's going to be these two green marks here. So you have this first angle, UXW, which is right there, and you have the second angle right there. Do you remember my last example? So if I move this line on top of that line, it's going to be a corresponding angle. Okay, so it should have an option here for corresponding angles postulate. Okay, the next one they already give us, but just to look at SUT and the angle right past the line is those two are going to be equal to 180 degrees because the angles forming a linear pair sum to 180 degrees. And then if I look at the last one's kind of like this. So you see the blue and the green, you got the green and the red, and the blue and the red. Okay, so I got A is equal to B, for example, B plus C is equal to 180 degrees. And then this one is going to be A plus C is going to be equal to 180 degrees. So this is a substitution. Moving on to the next one. I kind of lucked out on where my text was aligned in here. So let me just erase this side over here. That we just talked about right here, A equals B, B plus C is 180 degrees, A plus C is 180. All right, so look at this one, color coding it down right there. So again, this one is going to be the substitution. All right, going on to the next level, looking for some more. All right, this one I give you the two parallel lines. We're looking for to figure out statement number 2 and 3. Okay, so statement number 2, you have the two blue lines I labeled here, WVX and TSV. This is going to be the corresponding angles postulate. Okay, so if I move this line over to this line, those two angles would pair up the same. Okay, so let me do that. Corresponding angles postulate. The next one I have here is a QST. This one right here. And I'm actually connecting it to TSV. So if you look at these, it's almost like I'm going into a half a circle, which is going to give me a clue right there. So there are two angles connected by this line or being cut by the line. This one is going to be angles forming a linear pair. This one, TV is parallel to QS. That's the given statement. RUV is congruent to PRS. The reason unknown yet. PRS is congruent to QRU, and then QRU is going to be congruent with RUV. All right, so let's look through this one. All right, this one they give us these choices here. And this one they give us these choices. So let me just pause and fill out the blank. All right, this first one, I have these two red angles. This looks like the corresponding angles postulate. Okay, so if I move this one, that line to that line, those angles should be the same. PRS is congruent to QUT, or QRU, excuse me. These angles are across from each other right there. This is the vertical angle. Okay, so this is the vertical angle theorem. So the two lines are across from each other there. And then the last one, they gave the transitive property of congruence, which is already given. So these two should be our reasons for the other two. Yeah. All right, last one we're going to do. QSR is congruent to WVX. Complete the proof that UW is parallel to RT. Okay, so going backwards like that, you can almost guess right here already that this is going to be the converse of corresponding angles postulate. Okay, this first one is in the title on the very top in the original statement, so this is going to be given. Okay, and let's look at the other angles. Let me pause and draw them. All right, so we got the purple angle, and across from it, across big hint, is going to be the red angle right there, which is VST or TSV, either way. And this one is going to be the vertical angle theorem. Okay. Next one we have is going to be the red. The WVX is going to be congruent to TSV. So going into the red. So we're starting actually with, let me just draw this out. This angle right here is going to be congruent to this angle. And again, that's like if I move this line over on top of this line, these angles should match up and be the same. Okay. And that one is going to be the corresponding angles postulate. Okay. Oh, let's see what we did. All right, this is a common mistake that can happen. I want to show you this. Transitive property of congruence is the right answer for the third one, and not what we answered before, which is corresponding angles postulate, because this way is going towards solving that the two lines are parallel. Okay, so if you started with that and you went the opposite direction, that would be the right statement. But transitive property of congruence is if A is equal to B and A is equal to C, then B is equal to C. So if you look at the color coding here, yellow is equal to purple, yellow is equal to blue, and then the last one is going to be B is equal to C, which is going to be purple is equal to green. All right, and that's for that section. The beauty of it, if you ever make a mistake, you can see the correction, then you can keep going on. Again, if you're going towards solving the two lines that are parallel, end of it's going to be converse of corresponding angles postulate, most likely. Transitive property of congruence is going to be when the two lines move into one. So this line right there moves over to this line. These two angles should be corresponding. Okay, so that'd be corresponding angles postulate. But this way we're going towards, again, we're going towards solving to prove that these two lines are parallel. So in this case, it's going to be the transitive properties of congruence based off the statements of 1 and 2. All right, thank you. I hope you do well in this section.